Welcome back, everyone. It is finally that time for Emily's Energy Corner, which we haven't had in a couple of weeks. Emily's Energy Corner is my last segment of each show that gives me ideas during the show of what to talk about, and then I talk off the cuff. So I've had a lot of different thoughts while I had Andrea Owen on the show today, because she is so full of life and so full of energy. And like she said at the last segment, she got sober in 2011 and feelings became a new thing for her. So the first thing I want to talk about on Emily's Energy Corner is the power that comes in being vulnerable. And I know that's very Brene Brown, but she doesn't get to own all of that. So I get to talk about it too. And that is that, again, I'm a hands-on body worker, so I understand our feelings and our emotions totally different than the way that a social worker or a psychologist or a psychotherapist, anybody else would do it. So all of my work stems from, what do I know about our feelings and emotions coming from our bodies? And I've gotten to witness people break down time and time again and tell the truth. And that is so liberating. But I have to tell you that people hide from the truth for years and years. They hide from their truth. They hide from their feelings. They hide from taking off the mask and becoming who they really are on the inside. Because when your insides match what you show up with on the outside, that armor, you don't need the armor anymore. What you see is what you get. This is who I am. It took me years to throw away the armor. And I actually say it like this, that finally one day the mask dropped and the crazy appeared. And then I had to do years of work to get through and start to own those feelings, because somewhere along the way, we associate and identify with really becoming vulnerable and feeling our feelings as weakness. I remember training with a martial artist for a long time in Tai Chi and Kung Fu and an array of different martial arts that he would teach. And I was the only female in the class. And I was the only American, quite frankly, in the class. And he would often say to me when we were trying to do some Tai Chi push hands, because push hands is about feeling the opponent's energy and using their energy against them. And so it's supposed to be sort of non-invasive. You're not supposed to be injured from this practice. And he would all the time say, Emily, if you would just learn how to fight like a woman, you could beat all of us. You would win every time. Women fight like cats. Men fight like dogs. And back then I would answer and go, well, I've never trained with a woman. All I know is what you've taught me, and you're a man, and everybody I practice with is a man, and I don't get it. And then I met this acupuncturist, my mentor, and she was so feminine. She was so full of yin energy. And she made me fall in love with my feminine side and made me feel powerful in being a woman, which never happened before. I approached everything in my life with power and force. I'm 4'11", and I'm like freakishly strong, and it was like nutty. So I always would approach things by trying to power through in your feelings, power through in your behaviors. I could pick up anybody. It was nutty. But when I met her and started training with her, not in martial arts, but just training in energy work and healing work, and she was an acupuncturist and a Reiki master, and I went to massage therapy school after I met her, and a lot of it was because of her influence. And I became really powerful, like astutely rooted, grounded, powerful in a completely different way. And I wasn't training with these men anymore, but I often wondered if I could go back, would I now win? Because I finally understand the concept of going through and feeling for someone's energy, not to use their energy against them, but to make sure that I block it so it doesn't get used against me. And not in a way that I'm avoiding anything, but becoming totally aware and not falling into your space and your trap of energy, and instead owning mine. And I remember that years ago I met another guy who was an acupuncturist and a martial artist, and he was talking about that women are so sexy when they can own their own space. And I thought, I don't know what that means, but I want to be that. I want to be sexy like that, where you can really walk into your energy and hold it and own it. And I just think it's really powerful. So like Andrea was talking about, that she got really in tune with feelings when she finally got sober. Getting in touch with your feelings is among one of the strongest choices that you can make. It is not weak. You're not weak because you own it. You're not weak because you cry. You're not weak because you feel the feelings while you feel them instead of shoving them into your body, and then you have to come to me to help you get them out. Because those feelings that are shoved down, they still go someplace. Like, that's the hard part to really explain to somebody, because it might be an energy form. So you can't see it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it, but you can find out, because you'll wind up at the doctor sometime later with a diagnosis. Because when you shove that energy down or that emotion down, and they're not the same thing, it stores as energy and it stays somewhere. It's kind of like, I've loved a lot of people in my life. Not the way I love my husband, not the way I love my children, but I've loved a lot of people in my life. Where did the love go? It's still there. I adore people that have been in my life. I don't look back and think, I don't love you. I just don't love them like I used to love them. But the love didn't leave. It may be replaced with a lot of other emotions that go with it. But really and truly, if I were being honest, there's a lot of people from my past that I love so much, and I want wonderful things for them, but I'm not attached to any part of them. And they don't have to have a place in my life, but certainly they would be welcome if they ever reached out. And I keep in touch with a lot of people that I've loved in my life for that reason, because love doesn't go away. Emotions don't go away. If they're not dealt with and they're not brought up to the surface and released, it will come up somehow. They don't just disappear. Even if you try to avoid and be that tough woman and tough man, it doesn't work. So it does go into the tissues, and it does go into the tears and manufacturing. Even, I was just doing research this week on the different kind of tears, and believe it or not, there's a lot of different kinds of tears. And there's been some study under microscopes, high level microscopes, of what the tear looks like if it came because of an onion versus what a tear looks like when you're sad versus what a tear looks like when you're mad. They freeze under the microscope in a completely different structure. But the energy between how you felt and then the tear coming out, that's a streamline of energy. So we see that a little bit, that you can't run too far from a lot of things before it catches up somewhere. And I think that there is so much power in letting yourself feel it, especially right now. And I touched on this in a video that I just put out, and I touched on it on the show, but issuing challenges to people right now because you're an empowerment person and you want to help people get up and raise their game. People are terrified right now. And the amount of pressure, there's even a thing going around that, like, Einstein realized that the relativity, different things were discovered during a time of quarantine. And that's great. And I'm sure that there is an avenue of expression that would really help you if you got in touch with it and you did put it down on paper or put it into a song or whatever it is that you want to do. There is those avenues, and it does manifest as energy, and they can release. But the extra guilt and the added pressure is such a waste of time. And right now, we can't afford to add a bunch of other crap on top of what we're already feeling. So instead, maybe today, or for the work this week, just feel your feelings, whatever they are. So if you're actually feeling grateful, feel grateful and don't feel bad because you do feel grateful. Or if you're expressing happiness, don't feel like you're not supposed to because so many people are sick. But if you're feeling scared, let that feeling stay until it passes naturally instead of pushing it and trying to push through and give yourself those pep talks. Those pep talks suck, just so you know. Those power through pep talks, they really aren't very helpful. So I just sit. Just take the break, but also, you don't have to tell everybody what to do all the time either. That's the hard thing. All these empowerment people, including myself, I want to help people and I want to talk to myself and I want to offer something great, but really all I have to offer right now is for you not to feel bad if you don't want to do it. Like, just be where you are and know that that's okay. Everything is okay right now. And everything's not okay out in the world, but if you're at home and you're safe right now, then that's okay. It's a great place to be because you're home and you're safe right now. Try to worry about other people, but not to the point where it makes you sick. Again, we have to figure out where the energy is flowing and how we can help it be a healthier, more mindful, more involved and enjoyable practice inside ourselves. So that's today's Energy Corner. Hey guys, follow me on Instagram, Emily A. Francis Books. I know that's a long one. Emily A. like Apple, Francis with an I-S, Books. And you can find me everywhere, but I'd love it if you'd follow me, shoot me an email, let me know you're listening, and I look forward to being back here next week. You've been listening to All About Healing.